What's going on, my fellow Tenno? Today we're taking a look at what I believe to be the best KULLERVO build in Warframe. Now you might ask, what do you mean by best build? That could mean anything. Well, this KULLERVO build has very little weaknesses, and I would even venture to say that this is one of the best builds in Warframe, period. You have some of the highest damage you can imagine, hitting into the multiple hundreds of millions easily. You can clear a map of enemies with one teleport, and I'll show you guys how to do this a little bit later on. Now, the speed, mobility, whichever you prefer to call it, is top tier. KULLERVO can teleport across the map at will and endlessly, literally rivaling fast frames like Gauss or Volt. Now, the build also has a focus on being effective with energy, so no micromanaging your abilities. You can spam any skill you want all day long. Now, in regards to survivability, well, KULLERVO has lots of overguard, and once that enemy breaks your overguard, you have a brief moment of invulnerability to recast, and if you happen to be overwhelmed at that moment, just teleport across the map, regroup, and you're back in the fight. It's literally a perfect survivability combo. Now, we're going to go over the build and playstyle, but before we do, please make sure you smash that subscribe button. It really does help with the YouTube algorithms. And if you're feeling extra fancy, please drop a like and comment down below. Let's take a look at the playstyle, and we'll take a look at the build afterwards. Alright, KULLERVO's playstyle is nasty. He's fast, furious, he can map clear, literally with a teleport. But before we go knock out these Rainbow Warriors, his fourth ability, Storm of Utko. Now take a look at the range we have on this storm. That is an absolutely massive area. It works through walls, containers, whatever you want to name it. It goes through anything. Now every time we teleport with his first ability, Wrathful Advance, the storm follows us, and it re-ups his timer on his fourth ability. So you never have to hit the fourth ability again during any mission. You hit it once during the start. Every time you teleport within that timer range, it re-ups it, as you'll notice. And that's it. It follows you. It keeps your melee combo counter up. You don't have to worry about the energy on it. So that leaves us with 3 abilities. Now, his first ability barely uses any energy at all, and it's quite possibly his most powerful. He can literally teleport across a map in a split second, all day long, anywhere he wants to go, and literally use barely any energy. All right, so that leaves us with 2 abilities, right? So his second ability, Recompensate, when we hit that, sends out some daggers, gives us a little bit of extra overguard. Okay, that's great. So it leaves us with the third ability, which is his Curse. We're going to throw out a Curse. Now, we're going to do the damage combo here, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So you're going to throw out your Storm of Utko, drop those daggers. All those daggers are going down on the enemy. Now, take a look at the melee combo counter. It built up to 12 in literally 4 seconds. We're going to throw out the Collective Curse. Once that Curse is in all the enemies that we want to attack, we're going to teleport over, and everyone is dead. Everyone is dead. So that's all you need to do. You do 3, 1. So you throw out the Collective Curse and then teleport over to the enemies. They all drop dead because you never have to hit your fourth ability again. Really, really effective on energy. Really fun, fast and furious. Teleport everywhere. Drop everybody instantly. What a blast. What a powerful combo this really is. All right, taking a look at the KULLERVO build now. Let's move over to the shards real quick here. Nothing here is required. You can do whatever you want. I personally just like to have a little bit more melee critical damage, so I put in a couple of those. If you're feeling short on energy for some reason or something else, if you want to put a couple green shards in there for some corrosive damage, go right ahead and do it. You don't need it. It's absolutely overkill, but if that's what you want, go for it. So if you're feeling weak, just put something in there that strengthens those areas where you are feeling a little bit less optimal, okay? So let's move over to the mod section now. If you take a look at the abilities on the left-hand side, 128% duration, 130% efficiency, 250% range. This is how I built the build. This is why I built the build. So take a look at the fourth ability, Storm of Utko. It has a radius of 25 meters. Any enemy in that range will add to the melee damage combo counter. So this is going to constantly move with us at all times. It will be up 100% of the time. and it will be adding to the melee damage combo counter, keeping it at 12. And this is the biggest drain on energy, and we will never ever have to hit it every single mission. So having efficiency of 130, never having to hit our biggest energy drain ability, leaves us with just 3 abilities that we can spam endlessly and willingly any time we want. And we are going to teleport across the map at all times. We're going to be zip zapping everywhere, dropping massive damage. But this is how we built the build out to get to those abilities: duration, efficiency, range, strength. That we are strong in literally all aspects of this build. Now moving over to the arcanes, we have Arcane Fury. This is really, really good for our melee weapon. And we also have range. So if you ever want to switch over to your primary weapon, this is not mandatory. But if you ever want to switch over to your primary weapon, this is actually pretty helpful. So this is actually a flex arcane. You can put in whatever you want here. So nothing is mandatory in that spot. But this is the actual build that you'd want to build out to get those abilities the way they are here. And this is what my melee looks like. I'm using Harmony right now. You could use whatever you want. And what I've seen is that melee exposure works really, really well with this Kullervo build. So try that out. This is how I have Harmony built out. And again, you can use any melee weapon you want, and it'll pretty much give you the same result. It'll fluctuate a little bit here and there, but for the most part, as you'll notice, we are heavy attacking. We are literally just spamming heavy attack with that first ability. And on our heavy attack, we're not adding in any slash or cold or radiation, anything like that. It's just pure raw damage. So we want to amplify that critical chance as much as possible, because at 12x and that melee critical chance per combo multipliers, man, that damage goes absolutely ballistic and literally out of control. So what do we have here? So now let's move over to the companion. Now I am using a Panzer. You can use whatever you want. It's not necessary. Now the viral quills in the Panzer do help with priming enemies, but as you've noticed in some of the gameplay, it's completely not necessary. So if you want to have a Hound or a Dariga or whatever you want to use, go right ahead, because there are literally no weaknesses that I have found in this build. And I have put literally hundreds of hours into this particular build, trying to min-max it, optimize it. I find Kullervo to be one of the most versatile frames in Warframe, period. I mean, he is just absolutely insane with this particular build. He's played very differently right now than the way most people play him. They subsume his fourth ability, but they don't realize, or at least a lot of people haven't seen the importance of keeping that fourth ability up to keep that melee combo counter up. So that way you just spam 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 3 and 1, and he goes off the charts in terms of damage. He can literally out damage any Warframe in Warframe, period. I mean, literally, easily too. And this isn't even min-maxed on the shards. If I really wanted to get like super, super crazy on this, I'd throw in a couple green shards here to add a little bit more corrosive damage and whatnot, but you don't have to do it, because if you're going over hundreds of millions of damage, you're starting to get into billions. And then once you start to do that, then you're kind of literally losing a little bit of your other parts of your build. So I find this to be optimized for an all-around build. So I hope you guys enjoyed the build. If you guys did, make sure you do leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out.